Hey everybody, it's Saturday morning, and we're going to have a quick look at my pea puffer tank here in my office. Now, technically at this point, I have to call it my former pea puffer tank. If you follow along with my videos, you'll know that I lost the larger, the dominant of the two pea puffers not long ago. It was the bigger bully in the tank. It was the one that was bullying and harassing the smaller one. So when that one died, I figured the smaller one would then come into its own and begin thriving and growing and doing better. And it never really did. It always just sort of stayed kind of timid into itself. It never really interacted with the other fish in the tank. And eventually it began to get difficult to even find. It was just hiding in these leaves, and I couldn't really ever even get in there and see it. Even if we get all the way down here to ground level, you can kind of look through there and see that there's plenty of room for the fish to swim around and hide. It's basically a forest for them. So the tank was well set up. I'm not sure why they both died, but last night I found the other one basically floating. It was stuck in the bushes, but it was floating dead, sort of semi-puffed up the way, animals do after they die. They start to bloat a little bit. And that's that. So no more puffers. So what I was going to do today, I'm a little ashamed to admit, I was going to go out and buy another pea puffer and then just put it in the tank and pretend nothing happened, and I just can't do that. That's just not me. So we're going to have a little discussion about it instead and wonder why my pea puffer died. Now, I've been shooting a series of videos recently where I'm talking about nitrates and water changes and high nitrate levels, and I've mentioned in those videos that there are some fish that are just really sensitive to higher levels of nitrates or just higher levels of dissolved organics in general. And I don't know that the pea puffers, that's the case, but it very well could be. I've tried pea puffers in the past. They never seem to live very long. I chalked it up to inexperience. Now that I have some more experience, I've tried them again, and likewise, I've had several of them die over the last year. And so I'm not sure whether I want to buy any more or not. There are a few fish I have found over the years that just don't do well in my water. And, no pun intended, I have well water, and I've got a lot of nitrates in it, so I have a sodium ion exchange water softening system that does a lot of stuff to my water, but the end result is while my pH is stabilized and I've got my water nice and soft, the downside is that I've got a lot of sodium ions in my water as well. So I'm just as likely to blame the sodium in my water as I am to blame the nitrates in my water. In fact, I'm probably more likely to blame the sodium, because some other fish that I can't keep are ballast sharks. I have tried and tried and tried to keep ballast sharks, and they do not survive in my tanks, no matter what I do, no matter how much water changes I do. And ballast sharks are beginner fish, they're hardy fish, they're fish that can get bounced around in all kinds of water conditions, and they're generally sold as beginner fish because they can tolerate sloppy maintenance and high organics and stuff like that. Yet they won't live in my tanks, and my tanks are not that sloppy. I don't have tons of organics in my tanks. I've got, this tank, if we did a check on the water right now, I'm probably at or around 50 parts per million on the nitrates, maybe up to 60, which I know is not ideal, as we've discussed in my previous videos about nitrates, but it's also not toxic and deadly, and I'm not, suffering with a lot of fish. I've got hill stream loaches, I've got a black ghost knifefish, I've got sensitive fish that live in my water, fish that are supposed to be in pristine water, and they're doing fine. So why some fish just don't do well in my water is a mystery. I can only chalk it up to the sodium being in there. It could be very well be something else, but since I don't know, I have to have some kind of working hypothesis. And the sodium is where I'm coming to the conclusion. So I don't know if I want to just go out and get another puffer today. I'd already decided to go out to the big fish store. I'm making a drive today. I'm going to a good fish store. They don't let me shoot any video or take any pictures there, so if they don't want the advertising, then I'm not even going to name them. But they're a good fish store. They're fairly small. It's a little mom and pop store, but they make good use of their space by keeping some interesting fish, rather than the same old that you go and find at pretty much every big chain pet store. Now they do carry their share of mollies and skirt tetras and stuff, but very minimal when it comes to that sort of basic fish that you can find anywhere. They usually carry some pretty interesting stuff. I've got a lot of my more exotic fish from them. In fact, I've gotten my pea puffers from them, and I called this morning, and they do have some pea puffers in stock, so that was the plan. I was going to run up there and get some today while you weren't looking, and then later this evening we were going to have a look at my pea puffers. But we're not going to do that. You know, that's just not how I do things. I never have. I don't think I ever will. I just can't really make stuff up like that. As I always say, you just get what you get with me. If my fish die, my fish die. I'm not really here asking anybody's forgiveness for that, but, you know, that's what happens. So I've got another dead pea puffer, and now I have a not pea puffer tank in my office. If you can hear that clacking, rattling noise in the background and wonder what that is, the kitten has the lid to something in the hallway and she's playing with it, rattling around on the hardwood floor. So that's what all that banging, and it sounds like she's working her way down towards us. So it's probably going to get noisy and distracting here in a minute. At any rate, I'm going to get going. I don't know what I'm going to put in this tank. I don't know if I am going to actually get more pea puffers for it. You never know. When I get out to this place, we're going to see what they've got, and if they've got something interesting or exotic or something that might do well in a 10-gallon tank, maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll just get another dwarf gourami. I know that probably is a disappointment to a lot of people, you know, just getting another one of the same old fish I have in other tanks. But, you know, like I said, they're my fish tanks, and I really enjoy my gouramis, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm not really planning on putting another dwarf gourami in this tank, but I'd like to do something interesting in here and not have just neons and guppies swimming around in it. So whenever I bring it back, I'm going to sort of treat this as the quarantine tank, since it's got such limited stock in it already. I'll probably do a water change, trim back some of those plants a little bit, or maybe not. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do a simple water change, and then we'll let the fish, whatever I put in there, adjust to its new surroundings or whatever. I don't know, but it's getting late. I'm burning daylight. I'm going to get going. So make sure you're subscribed. As of now, I'm still calling this one my pea puffer tank in the office. That way you'll know what to look for if you want to see any other videos on this tank that actually did contain the pea puffer. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.